Oh, hi! I didn't see you come in. Oh, that? Oh, I was just playing a video game. Something which I do a lot of. But did you know that in all of my gaming, I often come across games that wouldn't make for very good videos? It's true. For various reasons, more often than not, I end up playing a lot of games that don't really lend themselves to videoification. Throughout the course of my video making, I end up playing a lot of games other than the one I'm discussing at the time. A lot of these games make it into the memory banks for later videos, but some of them don't really strike me as video material. Either it's because of the way the game is presented, or my limited ability to capture the video, or maybe I just like the game too damn much and I'll have trouble making the video entertaining. Regardless, today I'm going to give you my top 10 games that I've been playing lately that would make for terrible videos on their own. Or a better title might be the top 10 games I was playing instead of working on the last few episodes. Yeah. Where's my hair?
Number 10. Command & Conquer 3. I'll be the first to admit that I'm sort of behind the times. The fact of the matter is that I don't play as many video games as I used to, for reasons such as being in university for the past 5 years, being just as into board games, and, well, starting this show. So it stands to reason that I might have missed a few good or awesome titles along the way, and one of those titles is definitely Command & Conquer 3. I've been a fan of this series since my childhood, and part of me died when Westwood Studios got axed by EA. I pretty much wore a black armband for a month after that happened. I mean, Red Alert 2 was, at the time, and remains today as one of my favorite PC games. And just to add insult to a seemingly pretty severe injury, EA then announces they're going to continue the CNC series in-house. Ouch, man. Just a recipe for disaster. I assume. I mean, I was angry. Okay, whatever. Well, one day I was walking around Steam looking for trouble when I happened across CNC 3, and curiosity gets the better of me. So I picked it up, and suddenly I was all like, oh hell, this game's awesome! Goodbye homework! It really is a solid modern RTS game with a great single-player campaign that really kept me away from editing for probably too long. I won't say that this game is never going to show up in a future video, which is the reason this game is so low on the list. Until such a time comes, though, Command & Conquer 3 is an engaging game with the potential to keep you nice and distracted for many hours. Number 9. Atom Zombie Smasher. Oh my god! Corpses are rising, feasting on the flesh of the living. It can only mean one thing. The zombies are coming. Again. But this time, they look like this. That's right, it's a zombie RTS. You play using various mercenary groups that sign up with your organization to rescue territories from the growing zombie masses by evacuating the survivors and/or obliterating the horde. You get to use artillery, ground troops, snipers, barricades, landmines, and the like. It's an interesting premise, and its great execution make for many hours of gameplay. That said, the game is pretty short, so yeah. A run-through shouldn't take you more than about a day, but it's got a lot of replay value. The only major problem I had with this game was how easy it is to fall into slow decay. Fighting a losing battle for long stretches of time with no incentive to keep playing kind of spoils the mood a bit. The problem with this is that this is often brought on by the random elements of the game, either withholding the more versatile mercenaries for inconvenient amounts of time, or just the placement of the hordes around the map. It can make the longer play modes seemingly impossible based on the 2 or 3 times I tried it. I didn't give it that much. All in all, it's just a few issues surrounded by good aspects. Give this one a shot. Number 8. Snapshot. I picked this title up during the Humble Indie Bundle 7. It's an interesting little puzzle platformer with a rather sinister opening which really doesn't reflect the mood of the rest of the game. Bright and colorful. The game consists of using a magic camera to manipulate your surroundings and make it to the end of the level, but I actually found myself more frustrated with it than I had hoped to be. The camera frame tends to move around with the camera frame, which isn't really a problem, but it creates extra difficulty when you're on the move. Again, not really a problem, except that the game grades you on how fast you can finish the levels. Again, doesn't really seem like much of a problem, except that these target times are better suited for a freaking F-Zero game. And they also scatter these little stars all over the level for you to collect, and then they grade you based on how many stars you get in one run. But if you're gonna get them all, don't expect to get the target time, and vice versa. The way in which you drop items sometimes creates more problems than solutions, and the jump mechanic is limited and kind of clunky. I know you're all expecting me to fall to pieces over these little annoyances, but it's not really a bad game. I like it, but it doesn't have any good hooks. It encourages you to play through the levels multiple times, but there's nothing new to discover after a first playthrough, and the gameplay doesn't inspire ambition the way they seem to think it should. I didn't finish the game, so there could be all kinds of extra special goodies at the end, but as it stands, I don't know if I can recommend this one, but you could certainly do a lot worse than playing Snapshot. Number 7, Super Crate Box. This game is a high-octane, unrelenting romp through action the like of which this world has not yet seen! I make it sound a lot more awesome than it is, but that should not diminish the level of fun this game can be. The game is this. Armed only with the weapon in your tiny pixelated hands, it is your job to collect the boxes that pop up around the map, while monsters fly at you from various directions. Yep, only there's a catch. Each box you collect changes the weapon you have. Yeah, bet you didn't see that one coming. The weapons range in power and usefulness from everything from a wimpy little katana to a bazooka to a freaking minigun. I love this game! The premise is so simple, there really isn't anything wrong with this game except for stupid, cheap deaths! This game can be quite dangerous if you've got work to do. Major problem is that, well, it never ends. They tell you to collect boxes, and then you do, and then it just keeps going, and going, and going, and going, and going, and going, and going, because it never ends! Oh. Starting again, going, and going, and going. Number 6. King Arthur 2, the role-playing war game. Feel free to debate whether or not I needed to say that rather pedantic-sounding subtitle to get the point across, but there's no debating this game is slow as all hell! Turns involve upgrading your units, your towns, your generals, your cell coverage, and then walking for a while, and then maybe if you're a good boy, you can go to war. Takes about as long as it takes to find a fucking castle these days! So the premise of the game is turn-based strategy, until you meet an enemy, which then switches everything into real-time strategy. This is, however, a smallish part of the game, with much more of the experience coming down to totally text-based quests read by a dude with a voice like this.
Soon you reach another junction. Soon you reach another junction.
It's not really a riveting experience. I might even go so far as to call it boring. So why can't I stop playing it? It has this sort of power over me. Okay, well, the visuals are nice and the RTS segments are fun, if a little stressful, and you know, when they're contrasted with the slow, contemplative, tactical bits, there's this nice sense of tension and foreboding whenever I know battle's coming, kind of like, you know, in real life. I wouldn't be all that stoked to go to war. I mean, you know, I'd like, give peace a chance, man. So, yeah. Mission accomplished, I guess. Nice work, King Arthur 2. Carry on. Number 5. Left 4 Dead 2. Oh my god, the zombies are back and they're gonna eat my brains and my fingers are gonna swirl my liquefied liver like a fine rosé. Okay, that's probably enough of that now. This is another one I've let pass me by until now. I've never really been into shooters over the years, but after a united front of peer pressure from my friends, I gave in. And seriously, I'm glad I did. The zombie games I'm used to are more of the slow, puzzle-based ones, but not this one. Dizzying action highs are contrasted with terrifying tension-building lows, and it's quiet, too quiet moments that aren't actually just unnaturally quiet, very often moments, but just quiet outside of danger moments that, yeah. Did that make sense? Yeah, that made sense. I'm pretty sure that everybody who's gonna play this game already has, so I don't really know what a recommendation for me is gonna change, but suffice it to say that it's the most fun I've had with a shooter, and some of the most fun I've had playing games with friends. I can imagine you'll have a similar experience, assuming your friends aren't total douche nuts. Number 4, Dungeon Defenders. Okay, so here's the thing. I love tower defense games. You don't? You're dead to me. You know who else hated tower defense? Hitler. No, seriously. Why do you think he went around the Maginot Line? Because he didn't want his dudes to walk through gun entrenchments and sniper towers. He hated tower defenses, so it stands to reason, whatever. Dungeon Defenders is a great tower defense game, partially because it has so much more to offer than just tower defense. Different character classes will offer different playstyles, and building a varied team of the right abilities can create an accessible experience for all. Why, I even had a friend who sympathized with Hitler, hated tower defense, and even he had to admit it's awesome. So yeah, there's that. This is another game I picked up with the Humble Bundle, and it came packaged with all of the DLC, of which there is quite a bit. I've heard reports from people that the sheer amount of DLC there is available can be a bit daunting, but I don't see this as a problem. The entire game is sold in pieces, either through map sets or characters. The whole idea of being able to buy the pieces of the game that you're most likely to use and therefore get the best experience from, like a better specific character, it's a good way to go. Whatever, let's not talk politics. Dungeon Defenders is a really fun excuse to keep in contact with friends. Again, assuming no douche nuttery.
Get back here.
Number 3, Arkham Horror. Yeah, that's right, Arkham Horror. You got a problem? Well, show me where it says this show's about video Oh, touche. Well, whatever. I like to board games too, and my favorite is most definitely Arkham Horror. Based on the works of H.P. Lovecraft, a really great classic horror writer, by the way, you take on the role of one of a series of investigators, all with variable stats and unique abilities to fight off the invading hordes of monsters from other dimensions. If too many portals open up to said dimensions, then you have an elder god to contend with. The learning curve for this game can be kinda steep. I mean, I definitely had my nose buried in the instruction booklet the first time I played, but subsequent playthroughs are way more rewarding, and I find that I start to get the shakes if I don't play it for a few days at a time. The world of Arkham Horror expands further with 8, count 'em, 8 expansions to the game, 3 of which include entire other boards. First-time players will often find themselves at a loss for what to do because, well, there's so much to do, but when you acclimatize to the intensity of it all, playing this game is as immersive and offers as much to do as any story-heavy sandbox game. If you like board games, like even a little bit, you owe it to yourself to check out Arkham Horror. Number 2, Triple Town. Triple Town is a game where you put 3 of something together to make another thing, and then you get 3 of those things together and you can make another thing. And then if you get 3 of those things together, you can make another thing. And if you get 3 of those things, and so on and so forth. Yeah, there's not really much more to it. Oh yeah, there's this guy. He's not 3 of something, and he's basically just in the way. What a jackass. So yeah, I played this on Facebook, and then I got it on Steam, and yeah, it's more or less a good time waster. You're probably wondering how a game this low-key could have gotten so high up on the list. Well, it's because this game is liable to eat up 1,000,000 hours of your time. Look at that. 1,000,000 plus the 5. I played a lot on Facebook. Like a shit ton. And the number 1 best game I've been playing lately is Lone Survivor. Survival horror has gotten a bad reputation among fans in the last few years. Amnesia: The Dark Descent is often touted as the last hope for horror lovers, but that one's so mainstream. I mean, everyone knows about that one, because it's, good and stuff. Seriously, it's good. It makes me go, ah! Which is, that's what it's supposed to do. But a game like Lone Survivor will also make me go, ah! But it will often go unnoticed by the general public. Does it have smooth controls? Well, no. Does it have the jump out at you, holy shit moments that people expect? Well, not really. Does it have good graphics? Certainly not, sir. This is a game built around clever sound editing and graphics blurring to create a experience that may achieve the same tension and overall effect, but for completely different reasons. And boy, does it succeed with flying colors. In the contest of oppressive and bleak environment building, this game comes in a resounding first place. What a bizarre contest. This game achieves what so many that's enough. Games these days don't really succeed in doing, or really even try anymore. Making you feel uncomfortable for reasons other than just your personal safety. I don't want to say too much, because the magic of this game is discovering all the weirdness for yourself, but suffice it to say that Lone Survivor is not a walk in the park. There are some difficulty curve issues, and once you get to a point that requires a few tries, the illusion is kind of broken, but the biggest issue I found with the game was how hard it was to play for long periods of time. Trust me, it was for all the right reasons. Using the uncanny valley of low-resolution pixel art to keep you off balance, an uncomfortably oppressive soundtrack made to dull the senses and just generally creep you the hell out, forcing you to have to strain your eyes just to see what's going on because turning on a light could mean the end of you. It got to me from time to time. Or maybe I was just pacing myself. Yeah, I was pacing myself. But regardless, this game really is proof positive that you don't need the best graphics or a proprietary supercomputer to have fun being scared. So, those are the games that have kept me from working on the past few episodes. I feel as though I'll do one of these episodes every now and then because, well, I don't intend to stop gaming anytime soon. So deal with it!